Welcome to IGN FanFest 2026. I'm Casey DeFreitas, and today we'll be taking a tour of 3 bases you'll encounter in Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection. Please welcome director, art director, and lead game designer of Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection, Kenju Oguro, Takahiro Kawano, and Daisuke Wakahara. Also joining us is Daiki Tsuchida to translate for us today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, nice to meet you all. Thanks for having us.
Thank you all so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to watch the video that you have prepared for us. Can you very quickly describe what we're about to see?
はい、今作の、
Okay, so today the video we are going to watch will feature 3 locales that the protagonist and his fellow rangers will visit during the game. Starting off with Azuria, and we have other locales that I would like to introduce in today's video. In the game development process, we first start off with crafting the concept art or the art design, and then following the art design, we implement that into the actual game itself. So in this video, you'll see the concept art followed by how the concept art actually turns out in game. So please look forward to it.
ご覧いただいて皆さん楽しんでもらえたらなと思います。よろしくお願いします。
So let's get a first look at Azuria.
本当にいわゆるこう
So first off, we are showing the concept art for Azuria Castle. In the design process, we wanted to make the stereotypical fantasy castle type of design to depict how peaceful Azuria is and to depict the beautiful nature of the Azuria, world of Azuria, and the castle itself.
But was there any specific region that the architecture was inspired by?
For the castle design, they based it off of a Spanish castle named Alcazar Castle, and the surrounding environment, they had some inspiration from Lake Leman. They did have some actual real world inspiration, and that made its way to the concept art. And then something that is unique to Monster Hunter Stories is that to depict the bond with Rathalos in Azuria, you can see throughout the castle, you'll see like wing-like fabric stretched upon the castle. So those flags or fabric represent the wings of Rathalos. And also throughout the castle, you'll see that there's actually like an airport for the monsters to take flight. So you'll see that later on in this video.
滑走路があるんですけど、ここは国王との
This is the main hall located inside the castle where you see the king and queen of Azuria. So actually, if you look at this cutscene, you'll see in-game, you'll see all the details that were put into like the chairs, the fabric, the tapestries throughout the hallway. And then one thing to note, on the left-hand side of the king right now in the scene, you'll see this lantern, which is actually just like a shining crystal. One of the key concepts of Monster Hunter Stories 3 is that there is a crystal encroachment, which is engulfing the world, which is unknown. The reason why the crystal encroachment is happening is unknown, but residents of Monster Hunter Stories 3, they actually use the crystal to get some lighting inside the buildings, such as this scene right here. Alright, so the next concept art we have here is the main square of Azuria Castle. So this is the most lively place within Azuria Castle. We wanted to make this place very lively and beautiful to depict how peaceful Azuria is. So you'll see in this concept art there is a fountain right in the middle, and around the fountain you'll see many shops including the smithy, other item shops, and in-game you'll actually see a bunch of NPC characters walking throughout the square. So that's one of the things we wanted to implement in Monster Hunter Stories 3. You'll see NPC characters walking. You might be able to encounter some funny dialogue and monologue amongst the NPCs.
はい、ここは、レンジャーの
This next concept art we have here is the Ranger Station. So this is where the protagonist and his fellow Rangers come to have meetings and have some tea and whatnot here. As you can see, like in the middle of the concept art here, you'll see the map of Azuria. The Rangers use this map to strategize and plan their next actions. So each character of the Ranger Squad, they have their own chairs and places within this station here. The Vice Captain of the Ranger Corps, Gal, takes care of the weapons and sharpens them at the very back chair. On the right-hand side, close to the window, you'll see like a bunch of stones and stash there. So that is what Ogden, he is the walking encyclopedia of the Ranger Corps. He keeps all his stash over there, so it's pretty messy. And then on the left-hand side, we have the kitchen. So this is where Eleanor, she is the Princess of Vermeil. She joins the protagonist Ranger Squad later on in the game, but this is where Eleanor cooks for the team. And we have Thea. She is the newest ranger who joined the Corps recently, and she does not have a chair yet, but she loves to run around in the fields in the far back. And lastly, Simon, he is the best friend of the protagonist. He tends to just sit in whichever chair is open, and he loves to read. Okay, so this next concept art we have here is actually placed right beside the ranger station that we saw earlier. So this is basically the airport of Azuria Castle, where both the rangers and the aerial unit, aerial squad, takes off to do some patrolling around the area. And as you can see in the concept art here, when the rangers or the aerial unit are resting, they have the Legiana rest beside the airport here, and they also take care of like the equipment while they are resting. So next we have the concept art of the conference room, where the people of Azuria and Vermeil, the country next to Azuria, have their first conference at the beginning of the game. So on the right hand side, you can see that it's very bright, close to the window, has good lighting, and that is where the Azuria members are sitting. And while the left hand side, it's actually pretty darker compared to the right hand side. That is where the people of Vermeil are sitting. So the reason why we wanted to have Azuria on the brighter side and Vermeil on the darker side, this actually portrays the situation of the two countries. So as mentioned earlier, Azuria is very peaceful, very beautiful place. But on the other hand, Vermeil is facing some turmoil because of the crystal encroachment. So we wanted to have a darker lighting on the Vermeil folks to show the contrast between the two countries. On the middle of the table, you'll see that there's a lot of grape juice and some food set on the table. So that is to depict how prosperous Azuria is compared to the people of Vermeil. So next we're moving on to the next locale, which is called the Sheparden. This is the first village that the protagonist and the Ranger Corps will visit after crossing the Meridian into the Forbidden Lands. One key feature of this area is that monsters from Monster Hunter Rise inhabit the Sheparden and the area around it. Based on Monster Hunter Rise, it has a very Eastern Asia-like taste. So the Sheparden and the surrounding area is also designed after that art style. And then regarding the Sheparden Village itself, as you can see in this concept art, it is actually placed on top of a very dangerous plateau, as you can see, with waterfalls and steep cliffs. So the reason why the residents of Sheparden ended up in this place is because they had to flee from their homes for safety, and thus they wanted to have like a fort that will protect themselves from outside dangerous existences. So they ended up creating this village on top of a very steep cliff. This concept art featuring the elder of the village, Cole's house. So you can see Cole's house on top of the stairs in the middle of the concept art over here. Right beside the end of the stairs, you'll see this gate. This is designed after the Japanese torii gate. And then right beneath the torii gate, you'll see some masks stuck into the ground. And these masks actually represent graves of the former elders of the village. So the elders are actually resting right beneath the torii gates. And the next concept art we have here is the ranger station based inside the Sheparden. So this is not like a permanent station. They're just borrowing some space from the residents of Sheparden. In the far back, you can see, you can see it better in the in-game, but you'll see Rafa. He is actually stuck in like this very small stable, because the stable, that was not a stable at the first place. It was just like a vacant residence of the Sheparden Village. But they didn't have any space for Rafa to rest in, so he just ended up in there. And on the left-hand side, you'll see a very simple kitchen, which is made out of basically dirt. So that's where the rangers have to like cook their meals and prepare for their next adventure.
I did want to ask, is Sheparden a play on words? Is like Shepherd Den because of the people's reverence for Palamedes there?
正直申しますと、我々やっぱり英語は。
So unfortunately, we don't have any localization team members present in today's interview. So we're honestly unsure of how they came up with the English name Sheparden. But our localization team, they really love to play with words around, as you can see in the Monster Hunter series. So there should be a reason why they ended up naming this place Sheparden.
狙いが当たってるんじゃないかなというふうに推測します。
ガライアドですね。
As mentioned earlier, the crystal encroachment is putting residents of the world into danger. However, in this particular region, the residents of Galyad actually take advantage of the crystal encroachment in that they sell the crystals for goodies and make money off of the crystal encroachment. So as you can see, Galyad as a city, it looks very prosperous with many decorations, stones, jewelry throughout the city itself and the buildings. But if you go deeper into the city here, there is a steep boundary between the prosperous residents and the not so prosperous residents. So in parts of Galyad, you might actually find like a slum area to differentiate the prosperous outside versus the inside of Galyad. So here we have the main square of Galyad. So in the middle, you can see the Lagertris statue decorated in lots of jewelry. If you look around the city itself, it is inspired like from the Mediterranean regions. So if you think about the Mediterranean area, you'll probably think about like beautiful buildings next to like the ocean, the sea. But in Galyad, you don't see that. Actually, there is a reason why Galyad is so barren, in that Galyad used to be a ocean port city that was floating on top of the ocean. So all the jewelry and the decorations were based off of like the Mediterranean Sea. But desertification has caused the city to lose all the water, and it is currently barren, sandy. So that is the reason why there's a difference between the decorations and the actual cityscape itself.
Thank you so much for giving us that in-depth look at 3 of the hubs in Monster Hunter Stories 3. I will definitely be one of those people enjoying Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection when it comes out on March 13th. Thank you so much to Sujita-san, Ogura-san, Kawano-san, and Wakahara-san for this in-depth look at the rapidly approaching Monster Hunter Stories 3. We'll of course be covering more on Monster Hunter right here, so keep it locked on IGN.